And so I said to him, I said, Josh, how's your church helping you with this? He said, oh, not really, not much. We're building a deal, and it seems like all the energy's there. He's not bitter about it, but he just, when Chuck here talks about changing the world, here's a guy that's changing the world because he's changing the trajectory of a kid's life who doesn't have. In fact, I said, what? And he has a real interest and passion for young boys because they have no dads. And I said, how did you come to that, and how did that grab you? He said, honestly, what really grabbed me, what is one of the kids there that was coming to our after-school mentoring program that we started. That's how he got started. I should give you some backfill, but I don't have time. After-school mentoring, tutoring. And he said, on 4 subsequent visits, when I asked him who his dad was, he gave me 4 different names. He said, and I realized this kid doesn't have a dad, but he wants one so bad, he's making them up. He's inventing father figures. And he said, and I thought, this guy needs a man in his life that can speak, and I'm going to get me a group of people. That's how that whole thing got moved from just a tutoring after-school program to we're going to be life developers in here. Now, all I'm saying is you're not going to get that. That metric shows up nowhere on his church. And but I can tell you it is a kingdom metric because it is a life metric. And it's what God is captured by because the Samaritan's the only one in the story that had God's scorecard. Now, some implications for you moving as well. 7 minutes and 21 seconds to your boxed lunch. It's fabulous out here. And by the way, I go to all these events and we always have boxed lunches. And they always put on the lunch the meat, ham, turkey. I want to know what's the cookie in the boxed lunch. Who cares if it's ham, turkey? I want the chocolate chip. I don't want the oatmeal raisin. That's health food. I want sugar, chocolate. All right. And recently I had a box lunch where they had put the pickle right on the cookie. I mean, this is a catering company from hell. My one prize that I look forward to all morning, the cookie, destroyed by pickle juice. And it doesn't look right with me rummaging through all the boxes looking for the dry cookie, just throwing sandwiches and beating people out of the way, and kids were getting cut up. It's a terrible looking thing. So someone needs to bring me a lunch so I don't. All right. 5 minutes, 53 seconds. You needed a break, I could tell. So let me just quickly. See, if you want to be the Anglican mission in America, here's what I would explore. I mean, after you get through, with all your rat killing here. Here's what I'd explore. We're in an age, speaking of 500 years, where the church, if it's the people of God, we're going to have a larger bandwidth than the congregation as the only life form. I can tell you there are increasing millions of people in this country whose life rhythms do not accommodate to an every 7-day religious experience. For lots of reasons. Maybe they work in an industry that's working on Sunday. We don't want restaurant people in our churches. We'd starve to death on our way home. We don't want health care people in our church services. What if I need a defibrillation or something? If the Spirit were to move in such a way. See, we have entire cultures that can't accommodate to our. I know we start a Saturday night, and then maybe we'll start a Thursday night. How many more church services do you think going to be? I mean, we got to be a church where people already are. This is the genius of Jesus. Engaging and intersecting people right in their life rhythms which means that you're going to be looking at new life forms like missional communities that operate either as a missionary group, especially if you're a missionary society. You're not going to be launching 400 congregations. You're going to want to launch 40,000 missional communities. Folks, small groups in apartment complexes and in their neighborhood and people that have a shared passion or hobby. How do we intentionally spiritualize conversations around these relationships that are already in place rather than creating artificial kinds of environments then that people have to be wooed to and have to integrate into? Are you kidding? Why burden people? Why not just let the church be the virus that invades where they already are? Now, I don't know what I'm saying. I'm just giving you something. I'm a consultant. I don't have to know. All I'm saying, or I'm just building in the return visit, You're not ready for this information yet. I'll come back. What you're going to see as we move into a post-congregational era. Now, it doesn't mean congregations are going away. Don't hear what I'm not saying. This is not either or. This is about expanding the bandwidth. You're going to see, we are seeing the rise of the network church. And I can tell you it's going to be the size of a city. Because people are getting more, because the battle for America in terms of quality of life, and I'm not talking about American dream in terms of material, I'm just talking about people's lives. It's a city-by-city struggle. It's not going to be one at the national level. It's not going to be one at the state level. It is a city-by-city struggle. That's why the church in the city, the church for the city, is going to be an increasingly signature piece. I'm seeing it all over. People who are coming together, that mission trumps doctrine, mission trumps structure, mission trumps, and kingdom mission trumps all the stuff that, you said 30,000 different denominations. I mean, look at the gift of the Reformation. All of these denominations. Really? You see, because what if Jesus' prayer, the unity is around mission, not about polity, not about all this other stuff that we focused on. And I can tell you the new affinity is mission. This is why you have such a leg up on everybody if that's what you say you want to do. Not go create it. I was speaking, let's see, there was a Lutheran renewal group. They had their 25th anniversary about 2 years ago, and I spoke at their 25th. And I said, why don't you give up on this? Which is what you want your 25th annual speaker to say. I said, you Lutherans have been trying to reform the church how many hundreds of years? Well, how's that working for you? And, that's just what I say, dude. I've been really good to y'all today, don't you think? And I said, why don't you go be church? Be the people of God, blessing the communities where you are, and let the backwash of that do its renewing work in the church. See, this trying to fix the church has gotten us all of this millions spent on church stuff instead of a better America, a better community, people living better lives, just in case that loving your neighbor stuff was really serious. So I would pay attention to the rise of the network church. Seconds. And I would explore new life forms. I would tell you, get out of the church business and into the movement. And then I'll quit. You're also going to need to re-theologize. And you are great at this. Lord, this morning, just having my cereal, I heard so much vaulted thinking. And brilliant, stuff swirling around. People just can't talk like that everywhere up there. And but your best thinking needs to de-church centralize our theological discussions and get them at the street. Get them to street level. I do not know what I'm talking about. All I'm saying is it's got to happen. I do know this. Every time, as Phyllis pointed out and as Chuck reminded us, that every time this enormous new upheaval. So you got Augustine sitting there in North Africa watching the collapse of the Roman world. The Huns just aren't at the gate. They're inside ransacking the joint. Out of that collapse and milieu, you get De Trinitate. You get City of God. You get work that literally shapes the conversation for the theological for 1,000 years. On the other side of that, coming out of that, the rise of the nation state and all that, you get all those Reformed writings, Calvin and Luther and all that. We are at another one of those times where people in this mass customized world of spiritual journeying, mass customized, not standardized, which is the congregational format, we're going to have to figure out how we do theology in a way that's not so ecclesiastically bound up, but is more kingdom-centric. I don't know what I'm saying. You'll make sense out of it. And then the final thing, so we can go get a pickle. I would urge you and plead with you to think of yourselves slightly differently. You're the Anglican Church, our Anglican mission in America. We need you to be the Anglican mission for America. Our churches are in the city, but they need to be for the city. You're all across the country. We need you to be for people who are locked up and whose only hope of abundant life is to discover the stuff that you already know. Now, I'm counting on you to do it, not just me, but those people that don't know how to have hope are counting on you getting this. So what do you say? Let's be church better. Let's let the Spirit power us in new ways. Let's be for our communities. Let's see the kingdom bust out. Thanks a bunch.